Be with you guys shortly. No, no, no. Get that morning and throat chakra loosened now, right? No, no, no. My doggy in the background. Oh, there she goes. I said the magic word. She was a rescue, you know, so I kind of forget that sometimes that she has that little hair trigger on certain things. The word freeze. Also, I yelled freeze one day and she like came running. Wow, 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 wow. I was like, damn. It's like, did somebody train her to, you know what I mean? But what are the 4 stages? Fight or freeze, fawn, or something else, right? Yeah. Out talking. This is nice. A little reggae version of some Etta James. I can dig that, y'all. As Lord have mercy, I know it was a big hit, but I cannot stand hearing that arrangement and then that country song comes on. Every time I'm like, ugh, that Tennessee whiskey one, you know the one I'm talking about, and it's supposed to be like, something told me it was over. Right? It's like, whatever. What's his name? Chris Stapleton? Something like that? Good for you, bringing that arrangement back to life, but you know, fool me one too many times there, Tennessee whiskey, right? Maybe that's the foolish thing too, thinking that you can drink Tennessee whiskey and not get fooled. Right? Some people prefer Irish whiskey, Scottish whiskey. You know, however you like your whiskey. My grandmother did drink a whiskey sour every now and then. I've had like 1 or 2 good one of those in my life. I spent almost a decade chasing a good tasting whiskey sour after having one, and let me tell you, sometimes you just gotta leave well enough alone, right? Now, some people cook with whiskey also, I think, and do like in baking or like bourbon. You know what I mean? It's kind of, I think bourbon cooking is more popular than whiskey. I think the whiskey's more of a drinking alcohol versus a cooking liqueur kind of that like bourbon can be used for. So anyway, right? I don't know why I was singing New Orleans earlier. Crip Blue says, you look like my type. Well, is your type like reggae music? I like to listen to the occasional reggae. I know some folks that are really into the reggae. I'm kind of more of an occasional. But I have the reggae on this morning. I was just feeling that mood. Maybe it's springtime. Maybe it's Jazz Fest coming up. Festival season. I'm just kind of, you know what I mean? Feeling good about that. So as you tap in here, think about what you want to focus on during the reading, right? And let's see what messages can come out for the collective today. I am using the Deadhead deck, the Grateful Dead Tarot. This one is the one that I ordered from the formal website, not from Amazon. There are 2 different versions of this deck. This happens to be a first edition. I think they made a second edition. That you can also order from their website, which you just got to go out there. I'm not sponsored or anything, so go out there and Google the shit, folks. I can't do the homework for you and give you the reading, okay? You know what I mean? This is how the teacher has to explain the lesson sometimes, right? It's like, I'm the teacher, you're the student at this point. You can either take that information and do something with it, or discard, click off the video. It might not be for you today. It's okay, honey. It's okay. Right? I'm the same way too. Even as a reader, there's some days I'm just not in the mood to listen to somebody tell me what I probably need to hear. Right? That's just being a human. Right? And then maybe the next day you're like, okay. Or maybe not. It could be like that too, where you're just like, no, I said what I said. I know what I know. And nobody's going to gaslight me out of my own fucking experience, right? Why do people do tarot on here, Lord Alcatraz 000? Well, this happens to be a spirituality channel, so I do use the tarot cards. If this is not for you, you can exit the reading, right? Look at that. Oh, yeah, justice, Libra. So the scales of justice being evened out, as it were. Juria says, hello. Look at that passion. Not gonna stop this fire. I did a little reading yesterday with the Palo Santo. You might see it on the community tab, which I cleansed with the Palo Santo before this as well. So yeah, the cleansing power of fire. Yes, is fire dangerous? I saw somebody the other day doing a very, looked like uncontrolled burn while I was out driving, and it's like, yeah, I'd be surprised if the cops don't get called to your house. But, you know, it wasn't my neighborhood, so, you know, I didn't call them on them or anything, but it was just like, really? Because these folks were in town. They were not in the country, and they just had the whole ditch lit up. Yeah. Okay, let's use our noggins. Let's not set our neighbor's house on fire. Shall we? Right? Again, not in my principality, so I was like, keep driving. Thank God that's not my fucking neighbor's house, right? But yeah, there are certain things, collective, that you're just going to be passionate about wherever you're at, right? What's with your, now, see, this has to go. Lord Alcatraz is acting like a poop head. So, you know what I mean? If this isn't the channel for you, then, you know, I already said you were free to exit. Now you're going to be exited by me permanently. Do you understand, sweetheart? There is no more for you. Okay? So right? So follow your passions, follow your goals. Don't get distracted by Lord Farquhars down here, right? Right? You have one of those in your life, a little Lord Farquhar that thinks that his needs are more important than yours, collective, and what you're passionate about, what your goals are, right? You ever see that movie? Oh my God, I can't believe I can't think of it. Has the Spider-Man in it. Where they turn, it's like a Wizard of Oz type thing where they turn from black and white into color, right? And the one guy's like, where's my breakfast, or where's my dinner, right? Because he's ignoring the passions of somebody else, is why he's getting so upset. Like, he's obviously very passionate about his belly getting fed, but he's not very passionate about his wife's spirituality, her soul. Satisfy my fucking soul. That's the #1 fucking song that I put on as I started this reading before I even went live. So what is satisfying your soul today? Right? And if it ain't Lord Farquhar, boop, bite the dust, bud, right? See you next lifetime, okay? You know, everybody is learning lessons constantly. No man is an island, right? I am a rock, I am an island, okay? Now, and sometimes, collective, when you don't have other people supporting your passions, that can be what it feels like you're this justice warrior out for, you know what I mean? And some people could, like, think you're selfish for doing that, but it's like, I'm a one-person team over here, so if you think there's like 50 people behind me helping me, you're wrong, right? So don't, again, so what if you're out there? You ever read Grant Cardone, the 10X dude? Okay. New levels, new devils. They talk about it in business as well. You got three more contractors to deal with. Maybe you weren't able to get those contractors for a long time. Now you do. Now you got all sorts of problems, but they're good problems to have, don't aren't they? Because you actually have those contractors and you're actually working with them, right? Progressing forward, right? You're starting to get the skills are balancing because you're starting to get people on your team to actually assist, not do it for you, not the teacher doing the homework for you, right? But saying, hey, have you thought about this? Or hey, have you thought about that? And sure enough, if this isn't the reading for you today, maybe you'll come back to it tomorrow and you'll be like, you know what? Maybe that is the reading for me today now that I'm ready to go forward and stop letting other people say, oh no, you can't do that. You need to be doing this for somebody else. And it's like, well, why can't I be doing that for myself? Excuse the fuck out of me for living. Right? Mm-hmm. Satisfy my soul. Right? Okay. Get it, get it, get it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't want to wait in vain for your love. Give that love to yourself. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Do not. Do not. Right? I'm not saying you can't be kind to other people. I'm not saying you can't be supportive of other people. Just don't forget whatever your goal is. What is your plan? Right? Sometimes life happens and we kind of have to like shelve some of our plans sometimes, right? Maybe and this happens with males as well as females, right? On the female side, a lot of times it's when you have the family, when you have the kids, that becomes your priority, right? So all these other things that you wanted to do get shelved, right? For men, often it's the career gains, right? As they're moving through their career, maybe they don't have time for family, maybe they don't have time to even get married or whatever they want to be doing, right? Have companionship, however that looks for you, right? Q plus friendly here, okay? So, somebody being like, well, why aren't you doing this right now? Why aren't you doing that right now? And it's like, well, I'm working towards this goal, and it's not that these other things aren't important, right? They just have moved in a little bit, kind of like on the stove, things move over to this back burner, right? Because you're done cooking that for a while, right? You're like, well, I would like to have this. I put all the ingredients in. It looks good, but we're not ready to eat it yet because not everybody's here to serve, right? And then we got to get done cooking this thing, and then that, you know what I mean? Like sometimes that's just how it all. It's a big little dance that you're doing, okay? Right? Excuse me for a living, okay? Alrighty, Knight of Cups and love me do. You know I love you. I'll always be true. So please, what? Love me do. Oh, love me do. All right. So, who's shifting gears? Right? Somebody is out there. And this might be the balancing part, right? Maybe you were really focused on your career. Maybe you were really focused on your kids, right? And then it's like, oh, well, you know what? My kid's out of diapers. Like, maybe it's okay for me to like try and start dating a little bit. You know what I mean? Or going out and socializing, not at my kid's school, right? For some of us, our socializing is at the grocery store these days, right? Because we're just busy doing other things, and that's okay. You're gonna have those stages in life. That doesn't mean you're less of this. It doesn't mean you're less of that. It doesn't mean that all those experiences that you've already lived and had go away. They're still there. So again, the message I had yesterday was very much about giving yourself love. So this Nine of Cups could be kind of that saying, yeah, would I like to get this next promotion? Sure, but maybe this is the time for me to be looking for some more social activity, because maybe that promotion would take up this time on the weekends, and I don't want to give that up. There's nothing wrong with you saying no to all these opportunities that will never end. All right? People in a lack mindset see a lack of opportunities, but people with an abundance mindset see often an overabundance of opportunities. And when you start actually recognizing that in your life, the power of no is going to start to get a lot easier, right? Because as soon as you say no to one thing, another door is going to open, and so on and so on and so on, right? And for some of us, sometimes it's a timing issue, right? It's not about this, it's not about that. You're not looking to get into gossip, you're not trying to start rumors. It just is what it is. And you, as an adult collective, right, as a spiritually whole being, have to stand firm in that and understand that your validation comes from a higher power. It does not come from being seen at XYZ. It does not come from being, the homeroom supermom every year. Because you're not going to be able to keep up with that pace. And look at historical figures in life. Who has burnt themselves out and how? Do you want to be like those people? If you don't, then think about maybe, right? It's okay. Why are we moving? You know what? I just want to park here. I want to enjoy, like the other day, I was out walking the dog. I happened to be at this very attractive landscape, view, which I see all the time, because I can easily drive. It's a very, very short drive for me from my house, and to take the dog for, a nice walk. And there was a work truck, and they pulled over because this place has, pull-offs, because there's views all up and down this road, right? So there's several pull-offs, and this huge work truck, like he could have been delivering a refrigerator in there. I have no idea. Pulled up behind me, and I was like, I kind of, but I don't want to say, well, that I saw he got out and he was taking a picture, and it's like, yeah, this view is pretty cool right now. I'm going to enjoy it, right? Yeah. And, it made me smile to think, yeah, and then I saw where, like, the license plate was for out of state. And it's like, oh, wow. Yeah, well, maybe he's not used to this view. So good for him, even though he's working. But, stop, look around, take in the scenery. It's okay. Excuse me for living. Right? I didn't rush over there. It was like, oh, I'll take a picture for you, whatever. Let the man have his moment. His peace and quiet of, not having a woman bother him during the day while he's working. Right? He probably got back in that work truck and it looked like 5 texts from his wife or something. Oh, ladies, hey, I've been there too. Sometimes you gotta get the message out. And you're like, oh, it's not gonna all fit in one text. I gotta send more than one text message. Because you can't be calling people all the time when they're at work either, because people have meetings, right? That's when I was working my corporate job, and I would get texts constantly through the day and it's like, what do you think I'm doing? I'm trying to work. Like, I don't have time to be looking at these texts and reading these fucking excuses, basically, Some of that's, right. So again, those scales of justice may be getting even in your favor again because you're not running around chasing these people like you're acting like you're the babysitter. You're just like, you know what? I did my part, right? I'm now the teacher. I have communicated to the students. Hopefully, y'all will scramble off and figure it out, right? And, our planet will survive another day, right? Sorry guys, I'm styling my hair here as I sit. I did put a little bit of scrunch stuff in, but it's mostly just, I had to rinse off from my sleep, from my peaceful rest. I had 9 of Pentacles. Yeah. So your focus on the Pentacles is paying off. Some of you could be definitely single parents. You could be, yeah, definitely getting that kind of vibe. If you're not a single parent, like you're somebody who's independent, taking care of themselves. And again, often that also means sometimes you're ready to run into the right person that wants to kind of add to that pentacle pile with an abundance mindset. It's always an abundance mindset, okay? Because when we're born poor, right? I mean, unless you know what I mean? Very few of us are born with a silver spoon in their mouth, right? Okay, and we're just popped out into the world and it's like, here you go. Here you go. Well, the more you think about the world as an opportunity, right? Is our planet expanding not in surface area, but in mindset and waves and vibration? Yes. And when that happens, that's when you see the many returns of the day, right, coming through to people besides ourselves, right? And all the while, all you're doing is just fighting for what you've been fighting for the whole friggin' time. Am I right? Okay, right. So Mr. Reggae Man doesn't care that I'm not big into reggae, but if I happen to play a couple of his reggae songs, he's like, yeah, well, now you're on my speed. Do you know what I'm saying? Everybody's hopping on and off of this giant record, okay, revolving around the earth, kind of like the rings of Saturn a little bit, if you want to visualize that. I was also getting the, Lauryn Hill, right? Everything is everything in that video. Do they still make music videos? I don't have cable, but I do YouTube every now and then, and I see some videos out there. Personally, in one of my old bands, we paid for a video, but I never saw it. We paid $1,500. I never saw the video. I never saw even a rough cut of anything. Yeah, and this was something that we paid to somebody that I worked with at my corporate job. So I was really kind of appalled the fact that I never received anything. And it's like, this dude's making how much a year? And then we gave him $1,500 on top of that to get nothing. People be like, oh, go to small claims. You know what? I've gone to things as a witness, basically, right? And the people don't show up for court. So you want to talk about a waste of time. Until they're putting me behind the fucking bench and putting a robe on my motherfucking collar, okay? So again, collective, if you choose to be like, you know what? I don't need to judge and jury this situation, right? I'm out of it. You are free to go, right? Be like, I ain't getting paid to judge this shit show. Fuck all y'all. Who cares? People will be getting a little too into their egos after a while. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Take it from a musician who knows. All right, because when the gig's over, the gig is over. Right? The jig is up. You ever hear that? And a lot of people want to be, I don't know. Anyway, I don't get into it. I don't prescribe to it. You know, that kind of celebrity feeding culture. Because again, it's like that person then should be teaching us at that point, not us trying to be like, oh, what else? What else can I do for you? Right? Just saying. Just saying. Think about what you're putting your time and energy into, folks. Retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. Yeah. So this is interesting as well. I was doing something outside and I had to I was using some kind of like twine to tie some things down because we get a little breezy here in the Midwest, you know, and I got getting my patio furniture and everything out there. And I had tied this thing off and I didn't have any scissors with me, but I had a lighter. So it's like, oh, well, let's see how long it's going to take to burn through this cord. It didn't take but a second, really, to burn and separate so the rest of the ball of string can go on and do what they need to do on another project, right? Because the string I already got tied up on this thing that's their job. Okay, recognize the separation. That's a very grown-up thing to step into. Okay, and again, it doesn't mean you don't like so-and-so. It doesn't mean you're not talking to whoever. It doesn't mean none of that. Right? Okay. So again, disconnecting from the world, you know, maybe, you know, like I'm listening to this reggae music today. This is kind of a nice disconnect for me because it's something I don't normally dip into. So it's kind of giving me that refresher. All right, a nice reset. Okay. So that's what they do on retreats, right? A lot of times, you know, like no Wi-Fi, no cell phones, no television. Oh my God, what am I gonna do? Well, welcome to before the world was constantly connected, right? It is possible. It is possible. Okay. So that's gonna also allow just you to see for yourself where you need to rebalance, right? Not necessarily somebody else coming on and telling you that you need to rebalance. Like at the beginning of the video, where it's just like, you know, some people they like to get in the chat and be like, well, why do I need to listen to you today? Nobody said you need to listen to me today. And in fact, again, free to exit, free to go, right? Think of it as you're just like channel surfing. Lord have mercy. Okay, stay optimistic about your love life. Ooh. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. Well, Ace of Wands is, you know, kind of the big thing in the romance department, right? So anyway, collective, where you've been putting your passions, yes. Yes. It has been good for your love life. Going after your dreams, going after your desires, even if other people think it's silly, even if other people think you are delulu, right? Even if there's not 50 people behind you supporting you in any way, right? You being optimistic is going to bring that right to you like a goddamn magnet. Look up Magnet and Steel, Walter Egan. Stevie Nicks does the background vocals on the record. Right? Wake up to the possibilities. Mm-hmm. Is this love? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling? Right? Ask yourself that. Like, does this feel good? Does this feel like, oh, let's pray. Right? Wanna know now. Express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. Again, Knight of Cups. Look at that. So somebody's definitely branching out. I will say I kind of reached out to somebody a week or so ago who I think happens to be single, but they were kind of busy, and I was like, okay, I get it, whatever. But you know what I mean? Just expressing that you're, open to hang out or blah blah, like it's normal. May you get rejected in that moment, in that whatever. Sure. Again, that's normal. Sometimes it's because life, timing, that doesn't mean to stop. That's why it says here positive thinking. Okay, stay optimistic. You opening, it's like, she's putting that on the altar saying here, this is what I have prepared. Right? This is the abundance. Right? La, da, 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 heart-to-heart conversations. I will say, I don't know that I was actually asking this person on a date, but you never know how it's interpreted. And maybe it could end, and here's the thing too, is you don't know how it might end up going, right? Especially between some single folks. We all know what happens between karmic folks. They can't keep their goddamn hands off each other, so. My dog's looking at, she is. Look at her. I can't get the here she is. It's like, Mama, are you done yet? All right, yeah, heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly, discuss your feelings with each other. So if this is a matter of timing, especially like for money matters, especially if one of you has been very career focused, or you're like, I don't have enough money to get married right now. I don't have enough money for us to live together right now. I don't have enough, whatever it is, right? Maybe you live in a different state than this person, or you're going to different colleges or something. You're like, you know what? Maybe it's not practical for us to keep up this relationship, right? My high school boyfriend and I, we kind of, parted ways when I went to college here and he was doing his thing, and, that's just life, right? That doesn't mean, and that's when they say too, some people are here for a season, right, in your life. Doesn't mean that season wasn't purposeful, right? Because it's going to be summer here pretty soon. We're in spring. Every season has its purpose. We're planting seeds now, right? Hoping to grow our abundance through the summer with the help, right? With the amazing nature, right? So again, that team behind us, the universe is behind us. All right? Okay. Scorpio as well. Scorpio wanted to come out yesterday. So, yeah, even for the Scorpios, you may... Scorpio's always going to judge. Even the Scorpios might be finding true love. Okay? Yeah, she works hard for the money. All right. We're over. I'm going to give you guys some light worker messages. Remember, it is a Sunday fun day, right? Or whenever you're seeing or hearing this message, okay? So get out there and live your life, right? However that may look for you. It's not going to be the same as everybody else. It just isn't. It just isn't. So again, for some of you retreating, disconnecting from the world, for some of you, I'm getting kind of like not rejecting necessarily technology, but not reliant on technology is what I want to get at, okay? Answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? Okay, yeah. I was having this conversation with myself before doing the reading, and always trying to confirm if I'm even going to do the reading or not, right? So again, that satisfy your soul. What is your soul calling you to do? Right? If you're not getting pleasure out of X, Y, and Z anymore, maybe it's time to take a break. Maybe it's time to retreat. Maybe it's not the season for that. Maybe the season is for doing something else. Hi, Tony. Thanks for joining. Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided. Okay, yeah. So, when you see that bolt of lightning, when you see that light bulb, do you know what I mean? The flashing sign, it's like, yeah, I think that's actually for me, right? It's the universe is here to let you know, right? And yes, could that come through another person, but it doesn't have to be. That's where I think a lot of people get hung up and saying, well, I don't know if I should do this or not because so-and-so and this and that. That is not the way to be going about making decisions about your life. Okay? So if you're unsure, meditate about it, pray about it, sleep on it, all those types of things. Okay? Protection, call back your power, cut the cord, soul retrieval again. So those of you that have been fighting this battle, feels like you're waging a goddamn war. And you're like, I just want to retreat. I just want to be left alone. I don't want any drama. I don't want any drama, mama. Right? Yeah. Part of that is because you are now protecting yourself. You've called back your power, and now it's kind of like the angels are divinely, surrounding you and saying, oh, I see you actually don't have that help you need in the physical world, so we're going to give it to you in this world. You're going to feel it, and it's going to lift you up, and it's going to help you propel forward in whatever way that is, right? Okay? So maybe for some of you on this retreat, you're going to, discover some answers. You're going to get the time, right? Okay. Oh my goodness, y'all, I am getting hungry. Lemuria, creating heaven on earth. It's happening. Good thing I bought eggs the other day. I don't have to go to the store. Yeah. So, I'm going to mention this as well. So a lot of people think that in order to go on these spiritual journeys, you have to become vegan, you have to become vegetarian, you have to become a breatharian. No, you don't. All right. I know some people don't eat meat and blah, 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 but you know what? A lot of indigenous tribes do. So, naturally speaking, those things were put here for us, for a purpose, right? Not a purpose to exploit, but for a purpose. Okay. So again, somebody else might be like, well, in order to come to this retreat, we're only doing vegan, blah, 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 for 7 days and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? Maybe you still need to go on a retreat. Maybe it's just not the retreat for you. Maybe you're like, I like to eat fresh and stuff, but I'm just, and I don't know if I'm gonna like the food. Yeah, don't go on vacation trying to be unhappy. Right? You have a right. You have a right to nourish your body. For some people, that causes weight gain, right? Well, let me tell you, there's people popping booty fillers into their ass as we speak, trying to make their booty fatter. And some of us just got it naturally. So, is that heaven on earth? For somebody, it is. Okay. So again, because let me tell you, in the 90s, it was Kate Moss, the boyish, the Twiggy thing. Okay, like it was in the 60s, 90s. Now we got, Kardashian fake ass, and now we got, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Heaven on earth is what you make it. All right? And again, looking at the world with abundance and opportunities. All right. So for some of you, that might be like, okay. Yeah, maybe you talked about having kids and you're like, I don't know if we can afford it, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Maybe it's just, look, we're just gonna try it and see what happens. Right? We're here, we're trying to set the priority, right? And okay. I'm just saying. Don't sit on things and wait until it's too late because so-and-so never went for it, or so-and-so failed at it, or so-and-so, right? Are you trying to be so-and-so, or are you trying to be you? Okay? That's what we need to worry about. And if ain't nobody worried about you, you need to worry about you, right? What does Dr. Phil say? Nobody else is coming to fix your life, right? That Life Strategies book of his, the very first book he published, is very good. I know some folks don't like Dr. Phil, but it's very, very good practical advice. Anyway. People are like, well, Dr. Phil's married. Yeah, he's married. Okay. But there were also some other experiences he had when he wasn't married that helped guide him on his way, right? You can compare to other people until you're blue in the face, literally, right? Oh, they got it so much worse than so-and-so, and so-and-so has it worse than so-and-so. Well, did you know that so-and-so had to go through this? Well, no, I didn't know that. Okay, we can go all day on that, right? Or we can live and, answer the call of what we're supposed to be doing. Enjoying life. Breathing this fucking air while I still can. Because one day I'm going to expire, right? I won't be breathing oxygen at some point, right? I will be stardust. Okay? So when they say don't sweat the small stuff, they really do mean it, right? Because, in 100 years, it may matter very, very little to, the grand scheme of things, but what matters to you now should be important, right? And when I say you, I mean you, yourself, right? And again, what are you passionate about? What are you going after that is rightfully yours? Your life path. Okay. All right, I'm going to call it here. We're going to be coming up very soon. Please do like the video if you're in the chat today. Remember, you do not have to be a subscriber in order to like the video, but it does help pass the messages around. As always, there is a PayPal link in the description if anyone feels like a monetary donation is in order, but the 100% free way to support the channel is either to subscribe or like the video. Chatting in the comments is helpful too, I think, as long as it is kind to myself and others in the chat. I will remove anybody that's harassing me or anybody else in the chat, as I have done. And it doesn't stop me from doing readings either. So, boo-hoo, you lose today. Haters, trolls. It's like, did they wake up today and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna go troll somebody. Like, oh, good for you. Putting on your little big boy pants, something behind the keyboard there, right? Anyway. I did tell you guys I was going to do a love reading. These are the romance angels, but I am probably going to do a love reading. Maybe that won't come out till tomorrow. So my apologies that I have not gotten that out yet because I have not done it in a few days. So until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye-bye.